Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. Today it's time for a year-end book haul. December is here and I'm enjoying myself. I have everything decorated around here. I'm wearing a Christmas sweater today. I went to the yearly, the company Christmas party yesterday. I feel pretty good today. I'm just a little bit tired, but I have another dinner Christmas party tonight with some friends. And that usually takes over, so I'm not sure I will be able to film very much tomorrow, so I decided to film a couple of videos today and I hope you'll enjoy it. As I said in the beginning, this is a book haul. This is the last book haul of the year. I have collected a few amount of books since September, which is last time I did a book haul, and I have a Black Friday box to unbox, and I went to a used bookstore with my good friend Kirsten last weekend, and so I have a stack of books from that I'm excited to show you. Some of these books I've already read, some of them I haven't, but let's start out with the books that I bought before this last weekend. The first thing I have is a fairly new release that I've already read, and it's a Christmas one. It is the Christmasaurus and the Winter Witch. I've already talked about this a couple of times on my channel and I really enjoyed it. It's one of my highlights of November for sure, and I really appreciate these books and definitely recommend Tom Fletcher as an author. If you like children's middle grade books, I think it might be something that you should check out. I have the next book in the Mercer Thompson series, Storm Curse by Patricia Briggs, which I bought because I needed this in order to complete the Stacking the Series challenge, and I really am looking forward to reading this. I haven't started it yet. It's on my reading for December, but I'm currently working through the biggest books on my TBR and it's taken a while to get through them. I am in the middle of Assassin's Fate. I'm in the middle of Assassin's Fate and I started on the Hero of Ages, so that's what I'm working on, but I'm looking forward to reading this hopefully very soon. This next book I bought alongside the Christmasaurus because I don't tend to just buy one book off Amazon because of the shipping prices. So this one was only £2 that day, and it is another member of the Battlemage Fly, which Tom Fletcher is part of that, and this is Get Fit, Get Happy by Judd. This is a new approach to exercise that's fun and helps you feel great. And it has, I've looked through it, it has all these types of different workouts you can do at home in different stages of your, if you're new to the exercises, if you're a beginner, if you are used to it, how you can develop over time. I'm not sure how much I'm going to enjoy because I usually don't read very many of these non-fiction books, but I have it, so maybe one day it'd be nice to look through it. These next two books I bought because of they were Lala's favorite, and I was supposed to read both of them by the end of the year, but I sort of decided to bow out on that when I saw how little I was reading the last 2 months. The first one is The Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sara. As you know, I already started it, but I didn't get very far. I'm enjoying it, but it's on the we'll see when I get to it pile. And then I have Little Do We Know by Tamara Island Stone. This I'm also excited to read at some point, but I'm also again putting this on hold a little bit. I was supposed to read it in December, but I had too many books on my TBR for December, so I couldn't fit it in, and I will get to it in the new year, I hope. The last book I decided to get was because I read 2 books by this author, and one of them is one of my favorites of the year, and so I decided to get the first book in another series, which is Shades of Milk and Honey by Robinette Kowall. This is a historical set fantasy type series, and I've heard people sort of compare it a little bit to Pride and Prejudice. It's set in Regency England, and it follows Jane Ellsworth of Dorchester, and she's a woman ahead of her time. I'm looking forward to reading it also because I really enjoy Robinette Kowall's writing style. I hear that it's not as great as her science fiction books, the Lady Astronaut books, but I still really want to give it a go because I've heard that the romances in here are great, and I really enjoy how she writes the romances. So those are the new books that I bought since September. And the next part is my haul for when I spent some time with Kirsten. The first thing I have is actually because she decided to get rid of this book, and she asked me if I wanted it instead of her like just handing it over, because she had 2 copies of each. And so I got Battlemage by Taran Matharu. I read the first book in this series, and I have the second book wrapped somewhere, and now I have Battlemage, so I can read that when I eventually get to it. I decided, even though I have the paperbacks in the other editions, I decided it was easier to just get this one, and I don't have to think about buying the third book when we get to that part. And now we're getting into the used bookstore haul part of it. The first thing I got was Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandell. I actually bought this at one point and it got lost in the mail. Not that the entire package was lost, but this specific book. The package had been opened and that was gone. But I like this cover edition, but it's like just white hardback underneath. But it has a very hot pink end pages. I've heard excellent things about this book, and I hope I will enjoy it, and sometime soon-ish I will try and make an attempt to read this. We'll see. This next one is one I have bought because of Lala from Books and Lala. It's one of her recommended thriller book anthologies. It's Violent Ends by edited by Shaun David Hutchinson. It's a novel in 17 points of view. It's about a school shooting, and then every story is from a different point of view, and they sort of connect in that way. I'm looking forward to reading it. I hope I will enjoy it, but we'll see. One of the best finds in that store was for sure this next book, and that was Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, in the edition that I really want to collect. So I was like, what? I need this book. I'm really happy. I'm I want to slowly collect these editions, but right now I don't have a lot of room on my shelf, so I don't go out and buy all of them right now. So whenever I have more room, I'll collect onwards, but when I see a deal like this, I'm not gonna give it up. Another book that I got is one I actually have on Kindle, but I wanted a physical copy of it when I saw it, and that is Hounded by Hearne, the first book in the Iron Druid series. Isn't that what it's called? Yes. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I hear really great things about this series and this author. So I hope I will like it. I think it's Celtic mythology, which is not something I've read very much from, so I'm also very intrigued about that. Now the next 4 books are just like, I happened upon them and I thought they sounded interesting, and one of them is not even the first in the series and the next one is not, but I decided to get them anyway. The first thing I got was Blue Moon Rising by Simon R. Green. This is because I'm very interested in Simon R. Green. I read a short story of his, but otherwise I haven't read anything by him, and I'm hoping I will really like it. This cover looked promising. It has a unicorn and stuff like that, and a dragon, so it has good promise. The next one I have is Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn. This is the first book in the Star Wars trilogy that's set after the original videos, after episode 6, I guess. And this is the Legends it's part of the Legends line now. It's not chronologic in the in the Disney line. But I hear really excellent things about this trilogy. So I hope I would like it, and since it was only a really cheap price, I decided to go with it and see how I'm liking it. This next one is definitely inspired by Shannon from Shannon Riddler. She loves this author, and I saw this, I know she's read it previously this year, reread it, and that is Sword Singer by Jennifer Roberson, and I realized it's the second in the series, so I'll need to get the first one. It's very yellowed in the pages, but I got it because I saw this and I thought it was interesting. I have read some of the first in another series of hers, but I'm interested in reading more because I feel like I like the sort of writing style she has. This next book is also, I think, one I saw on Shannon's channel. It's not an author I've read from before, but I think it sounds interesting. It is Pegasus in Space by McCaffrey. I have no idea if it's a good one, but I saw it's like a second in a series or something. So it's not the first, but I decided to get it anyway. Whoops. And the last and final thing is a play. I don't ever read plays, and this is a Shakespeare play. I also don't read Shakespeare, but it was like 15 kroners in the store, and it is a Midsummer Night's Dream in this edition, Penguin edition, and you'll see another one later. So now I guess I'm going to try and get into Shakespeare, and we'll see how it goes. It was really cheap, so I decided it wasn't a big problem if I didn't like it. But I've heard great things about this play, so. Now the last part is this little box. It has, I think, 4 or 5 books. I can't really remember. It was the Black Friday sale. There's a couple of books that I have wanted to read. I wanted to get my hands on and see what the fuss is about, and they were really cheap that day. Let's see. One gone. The first thing is another Shakespeare play, and that is Hamlet. By Shakespeare. Hamlet is obviously probably the one I'm starting out with, because it's a little bit familiar with the fact that it's set in Denmark and we hear about the story a lot, but I didn't know it was so long. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to reading this nonetheless, and we'll see how it goes. The other one is definitely shorter, so I don't know if I'll start with this one or the other one, but I'm happy I have one of these copies now, and we'll see how it goes. This next one is, I haven't seen this cover before, edition of it, but it is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. I hear this is one of those that the story keeps on happening, like this person keeps living the same part of his life all the time. She's been murdered hundreds of times, and each day Aidan Bishop is too late to save her. The only way to break the cycle is to identify Evelyn's killer, but every time the day begins again, Aidan wakes in the body of a different guest, and someone is desperate to stop him ever escaping Blackheath. So it's very interesting. I think the premise sounds interesting, and I hope I will enjoy it. A monster of a book is this one. It's been very hyped over the year. I've never read anything by the author before, but it is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This was really, really cheap. It's large. How many pages? But it's actually only 800 pages, like only, but it looks larger because I think the pages are thicker. Because if I compare this to like a Game of Thrones book, it looks larger than that, but the Game of Thrones books are like 1,000 pages long, some of them. The last book is a new release also, that I'm very interested in reading, because I read the author's first book and only book that she's released so far. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I was very intrigued with her writing style, and I'm intrigued by the concept of this book. And it is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So it's like a book in a book kind of thing, and I really tend to enjoy those. It sounds very interesting, and I'm looking forward to see if I'll like it. Yeah. I hope it's better than 10,000 Doors of January, but So those were all of the books that I have collected over the last part of the year. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any of these books that you've read that you're excited for me to read. Are there any of these books that you want to read, or if you want to read some of them, I'm always game. I don't know when I'll be able to read some of them, but I'm very interested in trying to read some of the newer releases fairly quickly, but we'll see how that goes. It won't be until the new year for sure, but yeah. This was all I had for you today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Goodbye.